connoisseurs of the classic calendar shot will know that there's a few megastars, these views that appear every single year no matter what the calendar. There's the Falls of Dochart at Culin, there's the hills of Glencoe as seen from the meeting of the Three Waters, and there is this, yes, mighty Slioch as glimpsed from across the lovely waters of Loch Maree. How often have you sat and gazed at that picture in the calendar in your office or factory and thought, firstly, damn, I've missed Canadian Thanksgiving Day, and secondly, oh, I wish the Munro show would show us how to ascend that craggy fortress of rock. Hey, that's what we're here for.
The Gaelic is in Slioch or in Slioch, and Slioch is a Gaelic for a spear, but it would appear to have something to do with the word spear, although it certainly doesn't look like a spear.
Well, this is certainly the most popular route up Slioch. Starts in the sleepy little hamlet of Kinloch Ewe at the head of Loch Maree. And believe me, this is the centre of the Midgey universe. It's no joke. They're so bad here that in the 17th century, if you were a criminal, your punishment was to be stripped naked and tied to a tree at dusk and left to the fate of the Midgeys. So there's an interesting one for corporal punishment fans. Instead of chanting, bring back the birch, you now start chanting, bring back the small biting insect. Doesn't have quite the same ring though, does it? Now it's a long walk in before we start to actually ascend Slioch, but it's a pretty one alongside the river Kinloch Ewe. Then we get to Glenbianisdale and starts to do some work. Loch Maree and its surroundings are one of the greatest attractions of climbing Slioch. It's surely one of the most beautiful lochs in Scotland, and there's a wonderful low-level walk along its north shore to Poolew, where the famous gardens are. It's a sublime walk taking you through almost every variety of Highland scenery you could imagine. The islands in the loch are particularly outstanding, and since they've been protected from the insatiable jaws of the red deer, they boast original Scots pines. On the heavily grazed main shores of the loch, however, trees have to really struggle to survive. This is the mouth of Glenbianisdale, where we have to start a slow incline up into the corrie that'll take us onto the ridge of Slioch. Beautiful peaty river to follow most of the way up. There are lots of interesting routes up Slioch, but the most popular is up Glenbianisdale and into the bowl-shaped corrie. This shows the route up the southeast ridge. Glenbianisdale is an impressive site, boasting dramatic cliffs on its eastern side and cut deeply by a river with an unpronounceable name. I'm not even going to try. Well, I'm glad to report that so far it's been quite an easy walk. We've come 4 miles, and because the path inclines so gently, we've only climbed a rather dispiriting 400 feet. So I suspect all the climbing is about to start. But you've got to strike off this path now, because if you continue along it, it takes you into the heart of the Fisherfield Forest, a wilderness. I wouldn't recommend you stumble around it unless you know exactly where you're going. But a feature of this part of the climb is that because of the slopes hemming you in, you're not going to get any of those big panoramic views until you reach the summit. And that's the way it should be. It's character building. You just wait for those views. The great thing about putting in the legwork to haul yourself up into the crater-like corrie of Slioch is the surprise and joy you experience when your head appears over the rise and the mountain reveals its secrets to you at last. Now here's a really interesting wildlife tidbit, because there's supposed to be a herd of wild goats roaming about in this part of Slioch. No one's quite sure how they got here, although one theory is that they're descendants of the domestic livestock belonging to the people who were kicked off this land during the hideous Highland clearances. I was sure I saw one down there, a big hairy thing, but it was just Ross.
Ross Murray? I thought it looked like Patrick Swayze.
Although it doesn't compare with its Torridonian neighbours with their knife-edge ridges and terrifying precipices, Slioch has a charm and wistful beauty all of its own. Its complexity is also intriguing. From the southern shores of Loch Maree, you would never guess at the odd arrangement of its topography. But as soon as you find yourself in amongst it all, enjoying it from every angle, it's easy to see why Slioch is one of the most popular mountains in this part of Scotland. Well, there's no mistaking when you've got up over the ridge. What a wind! You could paraglide down with the wrapper from your sandwiches. Well, I know we said that we weren't going to get a panoramic view until we got to the top, but I fibbed. That would have been the case if we'd stuck to the bowl. But we couldn't wait, so we climbed up onto the ridge and, who cares? Devil may care, that's the Munro show. This bit we've got here, the summit of Slioch, which means the spear incidentally, 3,192 feet. An absolute sublime spot. Its isolated position gives it one of the best viewpoints in the Western Highlands. Drink in those views, go on, tuck in. What a magnificent mountain Slioch is. But perhaps if you're the sort of person who likes to climb the moment you've laced up your boots, then this isn't for you because of that enormously long walk in. And a long walk in means something. What is it again?
A long walk out.
Oh yes, a long walk out.